everyone, it's Katie from Katie Writes Stuff, and the nail polish is finally gone. Yes. I literally had to scrape it off. It was ridiculous because it was going nowhere. But we're not here to talk about nail polish, strangely. I actually have a whole pile of things in front of me that I want to share with you all because I think you'll all appreciate them, and I love sharing my finds with people. I mean, there are only so many times I can tell my husband how excited I am about a pattern I found, and there are only so many times that he can politely be interested in it too. So I'm going to share it with you guys instead. I have a mix of knitting and sewing things. I'm going to start with the knitting and go on finish with the sewing because they're probably my favourite things that I've found recently. But first of all, I am wearing yet another dinosaur t-shirt. It is McCall's 6964. I won't talk very much about it now because I'll be talking about it in my July makes video, which should be up next weekend. But I quite like this pattern and I'm already making another one of it, so that should give you a hint about how I feel about it. And now it's time for me to share all my lovely vintage goodies with you. The first couple were actually gifts. So these three patterns are given to me by a person who comes in as sort of relief staff at my work, and this was for my recent birthday of significance, and she knows me very well, so she gave me these lovely old patterns that she has a whole shed of old stuff because I believe her mother used to run an antique store. We have this beautiful book that I already have, but I think this is in much better condition. We also have, I do not have this one, I love the pattern on this sort of ski jumper. It's like little Alps and pine trees and it's just adorable. So cute, I love it. And the final thing she gave me was this Wiggles Journal of Fashion, and I've never been sure how to pronounce Wiggle. Madame Wiggle was a very significant designer and pattern creator in Australia. I cannot remember precisely where she came from, somewhere in Europe, and she basically came here and for about 50 years created patterns and various ways of promoting them, and this is one of them, her Journal of Fashion. This one is from 1946 and it's lovely. She's also given me another one of these in the past, also from the 40s, and it's fantastic. I'll show you some close-ups so you can see what's inside. Oh yeah, I was talking about pronunciation, wasn't I? Very exciting. I actually had to message someone on Instagram who has a huge collection of these patterns and shirts. I'm like, how do you actually pronounce her name? So she got back to me really quickly and explained. So I didn't want to get it wrong for you guys. This came to me recently from Claire, who is Quilty Gal on YouTube and Instagram. And she promised a while ago that she'd keep a lookout for old patterns for me when she was up shopping, which is what we call thrifting here. And the other day she said, you've got to send me your address because I found you some amazing things. And I did, because sending people on the internet your address is a thing to do. But it turned out okay, thankfully, and she sent me this amazing parcel of knitting patterns. And I think there's literally only one in here that I already have, which was amazing. So thank you so much, Claire. It was just, I'm still blown away by your generosity. My favourite out of these has to be this Vogue Pullovers special. And again, I'll show you inside because there are some amazing poses in here that I'm going to replicate in my future makes videos. If you look at my current profile picture on YouTube and a couple of other social media places, you'll see I am doing a weird pose with a hat that I'm wearing, and that's because I was imitating the pose in the pattern book that I knitted it from, and that's something that I like to do, like try and replicate the original pose. I haven't quite managed it for a while, but I think I need to get back into it. Now my final, sorry about that, that's one of my other finds, getting in on the action. My final stack of patterns, and this isn't all of them, this is just my favourites. They weren't given to me, but my mum saw them for sale in a buy, sell and swap group in the area where she lives, and she sent me a message and said, do you want these? And I said, yes please. So I was about probably 12 or so patterns for about $10. And I was very excited about a couple. Firstly, there's another woman's knitting book, and I found another one of these recently, a different edition thankfully, and they just have fantastic ads in them. That's what I love, the patterns, but I love the ones that have advertising from the era as well. It was also, caught two together, a luxe book, which are so highly sought after because they weren't actually sold separately. You had to buy them when you bought your Lux soap flakes. So they came, I don't know if you got them with the box, so you had a voucher or something you had to send in, but the Lux books are fabulous, mostly because they tell you the year when they were made. And if you are another vintage knitting aficionado, you'll know one of the hardest things to do is find a date of publication on any of the knitting patterns. So you get very good at picking out eras by the styles. But you don't have to worry with Lux because they tell you right there on the cover, it is 1950. One of my favourites, a Sunglow. I have actually bought this as a PDF, so I'm really excited to have an actual copy of the pattern book itself, so that's amazing. The good thing about Sunglow is they don't have dates, but I am reliably informed they were only produced in the 1940s and 1950s, so I know exactly what era they're from. And the other two that I was really excited about are some also often coveted Australian Women's Weekly knitting books. And again, they have the date 1952 and 1949, and they're very exciting to me. I have another one of these a little bit earlier, and I just love them. So many amazing patterns, and again, they have a date on them. It's like gold. It's amazing. That's all the knitting stuff I have to show you. I will clear some of this off and I will show you the final two finds, which are very much sewing related. My first sewing find that I want to show you, I've picked up when I was away with my friends. We went to a market in a town called Conwack. Every Sunday they have a market that's part farmers market and part vintage market. They have a little shed with lots of people with stalls. So of course we were going to go there. And it was lovely. It was quite small, but it was really nice. And after we'd wandered around the farmers market, we went inside, spotted almost immediately this amazing sewing box. You won't be able to see much of it from the video here, so I'll do some inserts for you. It opens up beautifully as a sewing box does, and I knew I had to buy it, and I got $5 off because I did a little haggling, so I was happy with that. And the interesting thing is that although I bought it in Conwack, which is about 2 hours away from where I live, it was actually made in a town that's about half an hour away from where I live, so it's gone a long way and then it's come almost all the way back home. And it needs a bit of cleaning up and some polishing, but I will do that. And then, well as being very useful, I think it would make quite a nice prop behind me, because you can't sit here looking at Nellie, and well, you can't even see Nellie in her case the whole time. My other thing I found is in this little green box that says Singer. This is much cleaner than when I found it, and again I should clarify, as I did in my last video, it was Tim who found it because I'm really bad at looking for things, even though it's one of my favourite things to do. And it's a very, very cute little box. This cost me $15. What's in the box? I'm sure some of you who are vintage sewing machine enthusiasts have already worked it out, but I will open it up and reveal all. Oh, it's opened up nicely. Never does that. A buttonholer. So cool. Now, I do have another buttonholer. I have an earlier model, which doesn't have the little templates that you use. You just set the sizes yourself on the older one, but I'm quite happy to have two. Sure, one of them will work, maybe even both of them will work. And I just love the case that it's in. I've not seen one of these cases. I've seen the cardboard case that I have, you can possibly see it behind me on the shelf there, and I've seen those clamshell sort of cases and the red cases, but I've never seen one of these cases. So I was very happy to buy that and add it to my collection. And yes, I am planning to try and use them. So in my Sew Vintage With Me series that I'm planning to start very soon, I will hopefully have a buttonholer up and working so I can demonstrate how to sew buttonholes on vintage sewing machines. And I also have a whole lot of accessories that I bought separately from Nellie, but that fits in her case. And I'm hoping to get to grips with those and also demonstrate those in my series, which I think will be a lot of fun. And while we're here, I thought I should ask you, because a lot of people have been really enthusiastic about this Sew Vintage With Me idea. And thank you so much for that. It means a lot to me to have your support. But if you have any particular questions about sewing with vintage sewing machines, or anything you particularly like to see, like how they're threaded or how the bobbins are wound or anything like that, drop down into the comments and just let me know. Tell me what you'd like to see. Ask any questions about sewing with old sewing machines, and that will help me a lot, because I'll be able to hopefully answer those questions and provide you with something that will be useful to you, which is my main aim. I don't just want to sit here and waffle on. on to waffle on and be vaguely useful to you. So those are all my treasures that I wanted to share with you, so thank you for hanging along and looking and hopefully enjoying as well. If you have enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, but most of all I'd love it if you drop down into the comments and tell me what was your favourite thing, or share an exciting thing that you found recently as well. I love hearing from you and I love having to chat to everybody, and I'm just so happy to have you along with me. Now before I go, I want to give you all a bit of a heads up that I am most likely changing my name on YouTube. I will still be the same old Katie, but I just feel that Katie Writes Stuff doesn't really tell you anything about what I do on this channel. I think it's about time I changed the name. I haven't decided if I'll change it on Instagram as well, but probably will. But that's just to let you know that I may be turning up in your subscription box with a slightly different name. It'll be the same old blathering on and talking about old stuff that apparently a lot of you know and love, which is really nice. That is me for today. I have some sewing to do. I'm going to get Nellie out and finish my skirt so I can take a photo of it, because my mum's still in contact with the lady who sold it to us, and it was that lady's mother's sewing machine. So I want to send her a photo and say, I'm using your sewing machine, it's not just decorative, because she apparently loved it, and I want to show it's being loved as well. Anyway, I am actually going to finish this video now. Sorry to keep you hanging on and on going, when is she actually going to shut up and let us go? Such a lovely day here today, and I hope it's lovely where you are as well. I hope you're finding a lot of time to do sewing and knitting and all types of crafting, and I will catch up with you all again next week when I share all of my makes for July, and there are quite a few, so hang on for that one. And until then, have a fantastic week. Goodbye.